Welcome back to the Malted Man Cave. I'm Keith.
I'm Dave.
And tonight we're going to be doing our first rye whiskey down here in the Malted Man Cave. Coming up. Alright, so we're back. And as I said before, tonight we're going to be doing our first rye whiskey on the show. Mm-hmm. You've only had, what, 1 or 2 ryes?
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm not going to lie, I haven't had a ton. I've probably only had like 8 or 10.
I've only had like...
compared to like bourbons and...
I can barely count on both.
Compared to like scotch and I just haven't
understand.
Anywhere near as many like other types of whiskey. So tonight we're going to be doing a Midwinter's Night's Dram from Rye Whisky. And we have to give a big thank you to George and Amy Kaplan. Yes. You guys are some of the most generous people there, like one of the biggest supporters of our channel. And you guys are truly beautiful people, so thank you. And this is a delicious whiskey.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I was going to say, this is our second go-around for this review. And part of it is, I would like to think that subconsciously we ruined it on purpose, the first one, so that we could...
Dave did, so we could come drink more of it.
So I could come drink more.
No, it was a crap show. We both...
we were experimenting.
Really, it was bad. It was like a 30-minute review. And
oh, man.
We each said like 2 or 3 like politically incorrect things.
Things were said. We may have gotten angry with each other. Someday that might be released.
The lighting is awful. I gained like 10 pounds in 1 week.
We looked like we were serial killers.
All right, so Rye Whisky is a distillery in Park City, Utah. And I believe they're just now starting to make actual spirits of their own. When they really first started out, they were really known for kind of cashing in on MGP, which is a kind of distillery that kind of makes their own whiskey. It's Midwest Grain Products in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Excuse me. And it's really weird. Like they don't release anything for sale from them. They just sell it to other private labels. It's kind of very, very unique. Yeah. And it's a huge, huge facility. Wow. Actually, we should go visit it sometime.
That sounds like a trip. Sounds like a dude trip.
Since we might as well just, when we go down
the
bourbon trip, the bourbon tour, we might as well just go to Indiana first.
Coming your way.
Check out the Scotch for Dummies, and then go down to
Dude, we can do it on the road.
I know. I'm actually going to call and see if some of the bourbon distilleries would let us do like an interview.
Can I get a GoPro that attaches to my head and it like just looks at my face the whole time, and you just get this look?
Can you please wear that big cowboy hat?
Yes. Oh, the big foam?
It's a big hat. It's funny. It's like 8 tit for 500. A petit déjeuner.
A petit déjeuner.
So, as I said, this is a blend of straight rye whiskeys, and it's aged in French oak port barrels, which is very, very unique. I've only had one other bourbon, which is is it considered actually a bourbon? I don't think it can meet the actual criteria for bourbon, but Angel's Envy is a very kind of popular other kind of American whiskey that's aged in port barrels. And it's not terrible, but I'm just not a fan. So I wasn't really, really super excited about this, but this, whatever they did, it works. Yeah. It works well. So a couple more fun facts, and then we'll get into the whiskey. So this is a blend of straight rye whiskeys. And let's see, it comes in at 49.3% ABV, non-colored and non-chill filtered. So craft presentation, so daddy like, mommy like.
Oh man, look at that bottle.
It's pretty awesome design.
Yeah, it's something that you'll want to have out because people come up to it and want to talk about it.
But it's not too much to where you feel like you're paying $40 of the bottle cost.
And you know what? A lot of times with Hallie, like I had a buddy, shout out Stelzer, that just gave me a bottle for us to try, an Irish whiskey.
Thank you, Stelzer.
And the bottle is pretty fancy, or at least my wife thinks so, and it's amazing how much presentation just gets you.
Isn't it like an octagon or whatever? That bottle?
It's round. Yeah, sort of. It's strange. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting, but how that kind of sets you up for how you're gonna feel about the whiskey.
So this is kind of a blend of 3 straight rye whiskeys, as I said already. It's 95% rye, 5% barley from MGP, and then there's like another blend of whiskey that's 53% rye, 37% corn, and I think 10% barley from Barton Distillery. And then there's one last cask that they use to blend in it. I think it's 80% rye, 10% corn, and 10% barley, again from Barton Distillery. And I think the age is anywhere from like 5 or 6 to like 15 years. I think like maybe one of those mash bills is like 7 years, and the other one's like 15 years, and the other one's like 4. Who knows, something like that. So, without further ado, let's get into some whiskey. You start us off?
Man, so I've had my nose all night. My wife just gave him a little trim. That's why he looks so svelte. And I was trying this Irish whiskey, and man, I am just not a fan of sherry.
You say Irish whiskey?
Or whatever it is. It is Irish whiskey.
No.
No. I'm talking about what I was having
Oh,
earlier.
I thought you were talking about this.
No.
My bad.
They
Just checking you.
review the tape. No. But anyways, and man, just coming back to this, it's
so much
good.
better than that.
Oh my gosh. It's just so much better. I'm sorry, Stelzer. We'll review it sometime soon.
You better step up your game, Stelz.
Anyways, right off the bat, it's like getting a vanilla milkshake with cherries and whipped cream, and it's done right. Like it's yeah. And then caramel and chocolate kind of swirled together. Little bit of and you know what? It's changed a little bit for me. I mentioned earlier that this is our second review, and the first time I was smelling a lot of the dry erase marker smell.
We're really close in this review.
Hey!
We're really working on our lighting and camera angles.
Do you guys mind?
Give it.
Yeah, let us know. Do we need to?
What do you guys want to see? Anything's better than what we had back in the day. The darkly lit Malted.
It's nice to be down here.
Then there was like one video where like I autofocused on like the Ohio State plaque that I used to, so it was like all red. It's been a struggle with the video quality here at the Malted Man Cave, but we've stepped up our game.
Originally, I was getting a big scent of a dry erase, kind of a chemically smell. And man, it's gone. And it's just sweet. I put a little bit, reminds me a little bit of a Reuben. We just went to a restaurant in the town where we live that makes a very good Reuben, and man, right off the bat, it smelled like a Reuben cooking.
I remember being jealous that I didn't, because I put rye bread. Obviously, I'm like, dang, Dave, good note, touche. Anything else on the nose you get?
Nope, that's it. How about you, man?
So a lot of times they say rye. I'm sorry, rye. They say rye on rye whiskeys. Go figure.
Right.
A lot of times they say dill pickle in rye, like you kind of get notes of dill pickle.
Yeah.
And I've had, like I said, only like 6, 7, 8 ryes, and this is the first rye that I actually smelled dill pickle. And when I was a kid, I hated pickles, but now as an adult, I love pickles, especially fried pickles. So I wasn't sure if it would work at first, but it's actually delicious. So dill pickles, spearmint, and like wintergreen, which is something I always get whenever there's a heavy, rye influence in the mash bill. RC Cola, a little bit of corn syrup, just kind of always in the background. Rye bread, plums, raisins, and just like a really, really intense, but yet not too intense, like just spiciness. Like I can't even narrow it down to one spice. And I know a lot of times you say the spice cabinet.
Yeah.
I would say just all kinds of spices.
Opening up that door.
What about you on the palate?
Let me get a little down the hatch. I wrote honeyed sugar. I've never had honeyed sugar before.
Sounds good.
But it was like, man, I wanted to describe this molten, it just reminded me of this like honey flowing kind of sugar. It's real nice. And then also a little bit of that chemically from the original notes. It's not quite as there, but I wrote Theraflu. If you've ever made hot Theraflu.
Delicious.
It's not that bad. But anyways, it's kind of got that spiciness to it that you were seeing. Little bit of heat. And then black jelly beans for me. I don't really. I kind of compare it to. I don't necessarily like the texture of coconut, but I like the taste of coconut, and I don't really like the physical act of eating black jelly beans, but I kind of like the black jelly bean flavor.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, reminds me of that, so it's good for me. Caramel and rye's in there, and then dark berries is the last thing that I couldn't really be specific. Kind of with your spice cabinet comment. Yeah. I couldn't really put a pin on whichever I could. I could pick. How about you, man?
Man. Not to brag, but I have, compared to some people I know, my collection is nowhere. It's pathetic compared to some people's. Like Whiskey Throttle, Aquavite, just, a lot of the people out there, even George Kaplan and some of those guys, it's not quite that extensive, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But even in all of my, good scotch, over, $200, I just kept coming back to this. I just did not think I would like it as much as I do. So, again, you get the dill pickle. It's not quite as strong on the palate, but it's still there a little bit. Excuse me. You get spearmint, wintergreen again, like the RC Cola. This time, instead of plums and raisins, it was sweet, sticky raisins, almost like what they make Pedro Jimenez, where it's they leave out. In the last video, we had a long discussion about Pedro Jimenez. Dave tried to act like an expert on Pedro Jimenez, and I called him out on it. But anyway.
Yeah, Pedro.
Pedro.
Yeah,
Pedro.
Shortstop for the Yankees.
So for some reason on the palate, it's sweet, sticky raisins, and sweet, sticky prunes, kind of both of them. Cinnamon, cloves, oak, and again, rye bread. Just delicious. What about on the finish?
Real quick, you keep saying the dill note, which I totally get on you. Man, during the summers, especially when it's hot out, I will make myself I'll grab the pickle water and I'll pour it into a glass and pour some vodka into it.
Oh. Do you like dirty martinis?
Oh, man.
Do you like, what is the other
kind? Does anybody else out there do that? Pickle water?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Do you like Bloody Marys? Yeah, you like Bloody Marys.
I like Bloody Marys.
I don't do things
I make my own Bloody Mary mix.
Nope. So when you got to finish.
All right. I wrote long. I wish it was longer. So maybe it's medium.
Long?
I wrote long. I just feel like I was going to write medium, but I realized that it was lasting a very long time.
Yeah.
It's just that I wanted it to
This is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very physical feel to it as well. It's very prevalent. You know that you took a drink of something.
Yeah, I definitely think that this has benefited from the non-chill filtration, for sure. It's got a really good texture.
So to end it, I felt like it still had that Reuben note to it because of the corned beef, kind of the rye, and the rye was still there, but it wasn't. It was more sweet than it was rye for me on the finish. And so there's a California Reuben, and it's. I was kind of trying to be witty, saying, it's still the Reuben, but I think it's sourdough bread that they use because it still has some.
There's no rye on a Reuben?
I think on a California Reuben, it's
different.
It's different, but on a traditional Reuben. So yes, it still has the rye in there, but it's so sweet that I think the sweetness is more prevalent than the rye in the finish for me.
So I think it was actually pretty long, the finish. Again, you get all that dill pickle, wintergreen, spearmint, RC Cola, maybe even a little bit black licorice. Actually, let me take another sip.
I think RC Cola is still there. Yeah.
RC Cola, dill pickle. You can definitely tell like the sweet kind of dark fruits from like the port barrels. And then it kind of trails. You know, you said black jelly beans.
Yeah.
Black licorice.
Yeah.
For me, like and oakiness, black licorice, and a little bit of like corn syrupy sweetness, kind of trails.
Yeah. Man.
I said this before, and one thing, there's a couple of whiskey, like Highland Park 18 is known for doing this drying. It like makes your mouth water, but then it also like makes it dry at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only like a few whiskeys do that, and I just did a review of Spring Rank 12 Burgundy. That did that as well, and Highland Park 18. And oddly enough, as I'm drinking this now, it's doing the same thing. It's like mouth watering, but yet drying at the same time. So, pretty amazing whiskey. Thank you, George and Amy. Malted Man Cave Mark. What are you gonna give it?
So I think George and Amy add a couple. No, but you know what? It doesn't even need the help of friends donating it to us. It's stands on its own for me. I'm gonna give it a 92.
Woo! Nice.
A 92.
You just love you American whiskeys more than anything else.
Well, you know what? And I'm a sucker for Shakespeare and also to the presentation. I know my wife would look at it and be like, this looks clever and the dimpled bottle. Yeah.
It's a nice, clever play on words. So for me, I almost want to make it, I'm going to give it a 90 out of 100. It's almost a 91. It is really, really good stuff. Anything over 90 for a rye is really, really good.
Let's just talk about it for a couple more minutes and let's see if we can
slowly.
Well, let's see if we can maybe pour another. Pour another. We'll talk about it.
Slowly go. So 90 out of 100, 92 for Dave.
92 for me.
Question of the night. Do you remember?
Yes, I do remember.
That's a change.
Man.
Bird.
Just taking the hits over here.
The one thing I put Dave in charge. I'm kidding.
What is what's a movie that you just get home from work, the kids just went down, you come downstairs, you need to you want to check to see what's on, and you see this movie and it's maybe 45 minutes in and you don't care, you can hop right in and be right there with it, enjoy it, watch it to the end.
So one of your favorite movies that it doesn't matter how many times
you watch it. Yeah, it doesn't have to be, and it doesn't have to be your all-time favorite movie, but it's just something that you just enjoy.
So for me, can I have a tie?
Sure.
So for me, it's got to be a tie between 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Braveheart. Mm-hmm. Maybe even throw in Gladiator in there, for a little threesome.
Yeah.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was my favorite movie as a kid, and then like junior high school, Braveheart, man, it's got everything. Yeah. Everything you want.
Yeah.
I had a dread fascination with giant squids. Like I'm so intensely interested in and horrified of giant squids because of the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Yeah. When it attacks the Nautilus. So, yeah.
Oh man, that's such a good movie. We first bonded over the fact that you and I have seen movies like that because, that wasn't a.
So what is yours?
So the first one that kind of came to mind for me was Gladiator, just because we. Did you see Russell Crowe's Auction? Mm-mm. So if you. He did what Sotheby's Australia did this thing called The Art of Divorce. Russell Crowe's and it was all of this, dude. There was all these swords from Gladiator. There was Master and Commander outfits. It was amazing.
Underappreciated movie. When I first watched that, it was kind of slow. But then as I've watched them all, it's such a good movie.
Oh yeah, it's such a good. If you just the set, the costumes, just to enjoy.
Yeah.
Man, and then another one, I would have to say that I don't want to say it because it's so generic. It's so generic, but it's so true. I can sit and just enjoy it. The Shawshank Redemption.
It's a good movie.
I can just, because it's kind of mind-numbing. I know that, maybe that's a tie. I feel the same way about the Green Mile, if you've ever seen the Green Mile.
I've only actually seen that once, though, so I don't know it well enough.
Oh, man.
Just remember that big, giant black man. He was like this nice
R.I.P.
guy. What?
R.I.P.
Did he really do it, or was he wrongly convicted in the Green Mile?
No, remember
Spoiler alert, sorry.
Yeah, spoiler alert. The crazy young guy that was across from him had done it.
That's right.
And that was played by
Was he mentally
Sam
handicapped?
Rockwell.
Was he kind of like the George
Lenny
of Mice and Men?
Oh, wait. No, I don't think he was stupid. Like, I don't think he was Lenny. Like,
he didn't have like an intellectual
disability. Rabbit, soft, crush.
No, it's Pretty Bird.
Pretty Bird. Remember Curly keeping his hands in the Vaseline gloves? Ooh.
He's getting real.
George
93 out of 100.
That's fantastic. So,
all right.
Gladiator for me, and then Shawshank Redemption.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys as always for watching us. If you want, leave us a question of the night so we can make fools of ourselves and banter about it. As always, we would like to ask you guys subscribe if you want. We have a Patreon if you want to support the channel. And as always, sláinte.